As many of you no doubt know, our Holy Father, Pope Francis, asked that we observe yesterday as a day of special fasting and prayer for peace. Peace in Syria, in the Middle East, and in the entire world. And if perchance you happened to see on television last night, he participated, celebrated, presided at a prayer vigil in St. Peter's Square for over 100,000 people. Thousands others gathered in cathedrals and churches around the world and in the privacy of their own home, asking God to bring peace to our world, especially now to those troubled areas in the Middle East. And we invite you in that spirit to continue your prayers for peace today, here at this Mass and perhaps later on, asking that God gives all of us not only peace in our own hearts and homes, but peace in the world at large. Because as Catholics we believe that prayer changes things. And we invite you in that spirit to enter into prayer for the continuation of a peace which only the Lord can give. Our scripture readings today are very interesting. Experience teaches us that one important choice excludes others. To marry means to put husband or wife ahead of parents. To allow our children their freedom as adults means not keeping them dependent upon us. A decision for a single lifestyle excludes marriage. But no matter what our human relationships are, says Jesus, Christians have to yield first place to Him. We get into trouble by failing to read the small print on documents like guarantees or in advertisements that supposedly offer wonderful bargains. But Jesus wants us to understand the small print of the gospel demands. There are three conditions that disciples must be clear about to prefer intimacy with Jesus to all other intimacies. To accept the cross, not only that of suffering that is part of being human, becoming sick, dying, but also the cross of the persecution, ridicule, and conflict that comes with discipleship. And to surrender our possessions and our possessiveness. To impress his hearers on the importance of these demands, Jesus tells us two parables about two possible fools, one at work, the other at war. As builder and king, both men are people of some substance. So to fail what they set out to do would be a cause of great shame. Jesus seems to suggest that it is disciples who have some material and social means at their disposal who need to consider the cost of discipleship most carefully, because they will pay a greater price in terms of social status and possessions if they give up those things to follow him. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, great theologian, In the cost of discipleship, compared costly grace and cheap grace. The latter is grace without a cross, and so without Jesus Christ. In comparing these two graces, Bonhoeffer writes, "The person who hears the call to discipleship and wants to follow, but feels obliged to insist on his own terms. But then discipleship is no longer discipleship, but a program of our own to be arranged according to our own wishes." How ready are we to pay the cost of discipleship? By doing works of justice, by sacrificing reputation and advancement, we confess the needs of the disadvantaged. Are there aspects of our lives in which we are wild enthusiasts for the gospel, but we have no staying power? The gospel today is a source of challenge and encouragement.